Last night, President Donald Trump gave his third State of the Union speech. It was a wide-ranging speech touching on immigration, health care, and the economy. But one of the big stories had to do with the political divide. It was clear from the beginning when the president refused to shake Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's hand. Then after the address, Speaker Pelosi tore up the president's speech. Minnesota Congressman Dean Phillips, a Democrat, is part of a coalition of lawmakers who say they are working to bring the two parties together. And he is here with us now. Congressman Phillips, thank you for joining us.
Good to be with you.
Well, let's just start with the overall mood in the chambers during the address. What were your thoughts?
Well, Allie, it was a combination. It was a hard evening to sit through, I have to be forthright. But I sat with my brothers and sisters in the Problem Solvers Caucus. We are 25 Democrats and 25 Republicans committed to doing better, restoring faith in our government. And we sat together in a gesture of brotherhood and sisterhood and goodwill, and it made a difficult evening just a little bit more comfortable. And today and this morning, we've already resolved to do better and to overcome this nonsense and try to bridge these divides and, again, restore faith and respect in our government. We need to, and it's not just up to Congress, it's up to everybody in our country.
Now, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi claims she ripped up President Donald Trump's speech because it was a manifesto of mistruths. What was your reaction when seeing that moment?
You know, Allie, I was saddened by the evening, both the president's gestures and, frankly, I thought the response to it didn't do any of us any favors. I was embarrassed for our country, and I think people are tired of it. I understand the emotion of the evening on both sides, but I was appalled, to be forthright. And I want to transcend this, and that's why I ran for this seat, is to try to demonstrate that respect and decency is imperative, and that you can disagree without being disagreeable, and that's what we all have to resolve to do. And I encourage everybody to recognize that Congress can't fix it, the president can't fix it, but we Americans can, and we got to start taking steps to that end.
And you voted yes on impeachment. We are anticipating an acquittal in the impeachment trial of President Donald Trump. How can both sides come together when there really is such a divide going on?
Well, it starts with building relationships, and Congress, unfortunately, is an institution that makes building those relationships awfully difficult. It's structural, and we've got to overcome that. And that's one reason that, again, we problem solvers, those Democrats and Republicans in both the House and the Senate, are trying to work together to get to know each other, trust one another, and with the mission to improve how we work together, starting with policy and friendships. And we have a group of 50, and it's going to get bigger, and I want everybody to know that everything you see on TV, while disappointing, does not cover all the good that's going on here. And there is policy work going on, there are relationships being built, and strangely enough, I'm optimistic and hopeful about the future. That's one thing about the president's remarks last night I do agree with. His closing line, the best is yet to come, but it's not going to happen on its own. It's going to take all of us.
You are a member of the Problem Solvers Caucus. Members of the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are on that caucus. What is your goal, and how do you hope to present bipartisan legislation going forward?
Well, our goal is twofold, Allie. First, again, to establish relationships, and then secondly, to talk policy and come up with propositions that both sides can unite behind. I'm a believer that if we don't have policies that have a genesis in the center, nothing's going to get done. I think that's self-evident right now. So I'm hopeful that our caucus, while just 50 in number right now, is going to grow. We're going to work with senators. Just had a wonderful meeting this morning with Senator Romney, amongst others, joining us to talk about bills and policies and possibilities of working together. There's a lot of good work going on. It's just that work is not exposed in evenings like last night. It's going on every day in the halls and within the walls of Congress. And we're going to start expressing that, I think, a little bit more vocally and broadly.
Now, several House Democrats boycotted this speech altogether, but there were others who wore purple. Were you one of the members wearing purple last night, Congressman Phillips?
I proudly wore purple, and like I said, we sat together last night. As you know, in the House chamber, especially on nights like States of the Union, Democrats sit on one side, Republicans on the other. You know, we tried to sit together. A number of us did, about 20 some of us. Some of us stood at different points and clapped for different reasons, but we were unified in trying to show that all is not lost. There's a nucleus of us that are here to do good and try to drown out some of the nonsense on the far left and the far right. That's got to change, and I was proud to wear purple. I'm going to be wearing a lot more of it.
Okay, Congressman Phillips, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Allie.